Anonymous question on Getter. Hi Tristan, what are your views on abortion? And the room goes silent. This is another Black Mermaid, isn't it? Watch, my phone's going to start blowing up from people watching live saying, ooh, don't talk about abortion. Well, you know what? I am going to talk about abortion. Because the reason this person is asking the question, previously in the question, they say, I've noticed when you and Andrew talk about the degeneracy of the West and how cultures are degenerating, you talk about women who have lots of abortions. So they're wondering if I am pro or anti-abortion. And I think I'm going to upset both camps right now, which is unique. Because a lot of people on the internet would try to give an answer that makes both camps happy. I am going to give my unique perspective, and I like to think that the way that my mind works is slightly different from most people's, so my perspective is quite different from most people's. So I'm going to give an answer that perhaps you haven't heard, and an argument that perhaps you haven't heard, and an argument that's going to offend the pro-choice camp, and an argument that's going to offend the pro-life camp. And I'll start by saying that from a legal standpoint, in terms of the laws of a country, I believe abortion should be legal. This comes with a huge series of buts. So listen up. I understand that women in prison, maybe it's in the child's, or maybe not the child's, their and society's interests to make abortions available to women in prison. If you are a homeless woman addicted to heroin, I believe it may be in the woman's interest and society's interest to allow women like that to have abortions. So I do think it should be legal, because I do think there are some cases, obviously rape, incest, all the normal stuff, where for society and for the woman, the option should exist. Now, to attack the pro-choice camp, which is the camp that I really can't stand. Because I don't understand why people pretend that abortion is something that it's not. This is what makes me sick about the pro-choice camp. I have just said that I don't think it should be illegal. I believe there are some cases where it's justifiable, even. But the way the pro-choice camp talk, you animals, is as though it's no big deal. It's a big fucking deal. What I won't hear and what I don't like listening to is people saying it's not murder, people saying it's just a clump of cells, people saying until it can exist on its own, it's part of the mother, people who saying, oh, I've had loads of abortions, it's fine, people making jokes about abortion I don't find funny. It is the murder of a human being. I don't care if you think it's a part of the mother. I don't care if it can survive on its own. There are full-grown adults who can't survive on their own. I am just as much a clump of cells as a newly conceived fetus. The fact that the fetus's DNA code is unique means that it is a unique person, for one. There are people born with no arms and no legs who are just as much a human being as me or you. So to look at the stages of development of this unique DNA code and say, oh, it doesn't matter because it hasn't developed this or it hasn't developed that, is actually sickening. I don't understand why people can't have a normal attitude towards abortion. It's either it should be illegal in all cases, even if she's 9-year-old and her uncle raped her, or oh, it's completely fine and it's completely harmless to society and abortion should be readily available on every high street. I don't understand why it's so polarized. Why can't people say it should be legal because some people need it, but it is absolutely disgusting and it is murder and it is abhorrent? Yeah, I just don't get it. So the pro-choice people are going to be mad at me because I've called them all a bunch of animals, because their arguments quite frankly disgust me and their behavior disgusts me. And the fact that normal, healthy people with normal jobs, with functioning bodies and no drug habits will go out and get abortions makes me want to throw up. They'll be mad at me. And the pro-choice people will be mad at me. So the pro-life people will be mad at me because I said that there are some cases where it should be. Okay, so my perspective is kind of unique. But it was a personal and I think interesting question with an interesting answer. So I thought I'd give it. To reiterate, I don't see any universe where somebody like me, who chooses willingly to have sex with a woman and she falls pregnant, should have the option to abort the baby. Now, legally, can the option exist? Sure, the legal option can exist within the country I live in. I have no problem with that. But why can't I be my own moral arbitrator? Because no woman who gets pregnant with me is going to have an abortion. I assure you that is not going to happen. I'm a young, healthy, smart, intelligent millionaire. My kid could become the next president of the United States for all I know. You're not aborting that to pursue some career or because you don't like the way it will make your body look. That is disgusting. So those are my personal views on abortion. To summarize, I'm against it for myself. Me and healthy, able-bodied people should be the moral compass for themselves and be against it themselves. And I think if everybody thought that way, you'd have a lot fewer abortions. And also, people should just make smarter, more informed choices with who they have sex with. Because I've heard this, Tristan, what if you get some crackhead pregnant? I wouldn't have sex with a crackhead. So what universe is that going to happen? Absolutely stupid argument.